Hey guys, welcome back. I hope everybody's doing great. This week we are checking out the Pioneer Woman out of Pawhuska, Oklahoma, and going down to Waco, Texas to check out Magnolia. Hope you enjoy the video. Hey guys, welcome back. Hope everybody's doing great. We are currently in
San
Antonio, Texas, at a amazing RV park. It's probably the nicest RV park we've stayed at so far. But this video, we went and did some stuff off of Miss Jessica's bucket list, and started off in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And what did we do in Tulsa?
Not a lot. We had really good Mexican food.
It was really good Mexican.
It was really good. There's not a lot, I don't think, in Tulsa.
No.
But
yeah.
40 minutes north of Tulsa is Pawhuska, Oklahoma. There's not a lot there either, except for the Pioneer Women's Mercantile and
Charlie's
Pizzeria and Charlie's Sweet Shop. Oh, you should have worn your shirt. So we went, what was it, early November? Or end of October? And so we thought, oh, it's not going to be crowded, it's going to be fine. But it was crowded. We left early enough to hopefully miss any crowds or having to wait, out on the street to just get into the Mercantile. I'd say we were probably like the fifth party that walked in, and we had the entire Mercantile to ourselves to walk around and just kind of observe what she had and all that. No wait to sit down and eat. Food was delicious. Yeah. What did you have?
The biscuits and gravy were good. They weren't the best. I like yours.
Oh, I thank you. Waffle. The waffle. Seriously, you get a waffle and they're like, "What toppings do you want?" And you're like, "Strawberries." So they're like, "Is that all? Or do you want apples or pecans or whipped cream or Nutella?" There's just, the list went on. And then they bring you like 3 or 4 different kinds of syrup to try on your waffle. 4?
And I think one of them was caramel.
Oh yeah, one was just caramel sauce. So it was amazing. And the way that they have brought life to these old buildings, but still leaving some of the history, that they found, it was on the wall or something. There was some old painted signage and stuff. It was really cool. And they actually, upstairs in the Mercantile, they have a bakery that you can actually watch.
I can't see you guys, sorry.
You can watch it. Neither can I, but she took my glasses. You can watch the team making biscuits and all the baked goods, cinnamon rolls, cupcakes, cookies, whatever they had going on.
We missed the cinnamon rolls, but we got there in time to watch biscuits.
Yeah, they were just cleaning the tables from rolling cinnamon rolls, but they started pounding out some buttermilk biscuits, and
The biscuits
looked
were
good. The biscuits were good.
So we checked it. We checked out the Mercantile, ate breakfast, and kind of checked out the whole lay of the land, so to speak. You can also get a piece of paper at the Mercantile, which gives you directions and a day pass to go up to the lodge where she actually films her TV show. It's actually on the ranch.
How big is the ranch?
We were gonna get there.
Okay.
Yeah, but we got that and drove on up there. It's really funny, the directions. It's like, turn at the sign that the cow tipped over last winter during rainy season.
So it might not be there.
But we made it. Was the ranch in reality the same thing you guys had in your head?
The part that we see in her show, like the kitchen and everything.
I didn't realize she had 2 kitchens.
That's true. So there's parts of the ranch house that obviously we didn't know. It's not really part of the cooking show, but the original purpose of the building was to be a guest house. So there are like 4 bedrooms. Super, super nice. They've done a really nice job. They were like luxury resort type bedrooms. And then they had a prep kitchen, huge pantry with all the things you could ever want, dishes and all the stuff in the other kitchen. How many KitchenAid mixers did you find in the guest house or in the lodge?
15 total, and they were in 4 different rooms.
15 KitchenAid mixers, and he won't let me have 2. So that was pretty cool. And the thing I like about Reed's personality and the way she's kind of opened up their life, honestly, was she's like, open drawers and see, I'm a normal human. Like, she has a drunk drawer. She has a Dr. Pepper cabinet.
She said junk drawer, not drunk drawer.
Oh,
just so you are aware.
I said that?
I heard
you
drunk
said,
drawer.
Yeah, you said drunk.
Super bummer. Junk drawer with chapstick and things like that in it. And people will leave notes and like stick them in mixing bowls or whatever. So I'm sure it's fun for her to come back after an open house and see that stuff. But
So the lodge is nestled up on top of a hill, and in preparation, like while I was walking through, and she's looking in all the drawers and stuff, you know, I'm looking on my phone trying to, you know, figure out some details. The ranch is 430,000 acres. So to put that in perspective, anybody who's been up to the part of the world where we live, 430 acres is 3.5 times the size of Flathead Lake, which is the largest lake west of the Mississippi. That just boggled my brain. You know, there's a couple pictures, you might see them in the video, of me looking out over the ranch. It is hard to fathom that everything you can see belongs to them. And they run 13,000 head of cattle and 1,000 head of horses. You know, that is just, those are numbers that I don't really think I can comprehend. Yeah, it was pretty epic. What was your favorite part of the experience?
Charlie's Sweet Shop. I like that place.
so that's in downtown Pawhuska.
So after the lodge, we went back down and check out. She has taken over a couple of the stores and turned them into different things. She has a pizza restaurant that we had pizza at for lunch. Below it, she has a ice cream and sweet shop called Charlie's
Sweet Shop.
Charlie's Sweet
Named
Shop.
after her, what was he, Beagle?
No.
Basset Hound?
Basset Hound.
Charlie, who
Yeah, so
passed away a
they
couple
are
years ago.
huge Basset Hound fans. So they're one that kind of started when the show started. His name was Charlie. He has passed on since then, but she named their sweet shop after him. They also have a clothing store, another kind of extended version of the Mercantile. So it's just got random cookbooks and whatnot.
That is also part of the it's not a lodge there, but it's, I don't remember what they call it, a guest house basically. So you can actually, there's room on board there that's part of the Pioneer Woman stuff that you can stay at. And there's definitely a lot of age there in Pawhuska, but there's also a lot of really cute shops. And I think that the traffic that has come for the Mercantile is helping to kind of build
Very much
Pawhuska
so.
up a little bit. You can see construction. They're trying to fix up some buildings and fix up some roads, adding parking lots, where dilapidated buildings were. So that was cool to just see the work that she and Lad have put in are not directly affecting them, but the entire town.
Yeah, totally. So was the experience everything you guys thought it was going to be, or not?
I mean, honestly, if we had gone the next day and met her when she was doing her book signing, that would have been top notch, but it was pretty good.
I think that
would have been super cool. But he didn't want to drive the 40 minutes back up there just to wait in line and probably not actually get a drink.
One of the things that I thought was really cool, my grandpa grew up in McAllister, Oklahoma, which we actually drove through after we left. And to drive up there, and we kind of went on back roads getting up to Pawhuska. And so I was just looking around, and you could really get a glimpse of what the surroundings were like for some of the stories that he told us when I was a kid. So, you know, I think sometimes you hear stories from your grandparents and you really can't picture it, or if you do picture it, you know, you're putting in your own background because you don't really know what it looks like. And so to go into the same area that he grew up in, you know, and he tells different stories, you're like, okay, this makes total sense. You know, so that in itself was really awesome for me. But that was the end of that part of the journey. But we're going.
Didn't we find out Reba McIntyre's from the town that Grandpa grew up in?
Yeah.
No. I don't think so.
I think that's the town she's from. And we also drove sort of by the town that Carrie Underwood is from.
Yes.
So it's just kind of fun to see like these big names that you hear on the radio or TV or whatever. They're from these little places in Oklahoma that the average human never even goes by or thinks of or has heard of. So it's kind of
I've
fun.
never heard of him before.
So that ended the Oklahoma part of our journey. We'll check in with us in a little while as we leave our RV park and head south. So on the second half of our journey in this video, we headed south, leaving Oklahoma and headed towards Texas. Yeah, and the first thing we saw was Dallas as far as big cities go. And that
the
was
highway system was insane.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Like for country folks to go to the city, like all the overpasses and I don't know what turnpike, is that a word?
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy. How many do you think we counted? Do you remember? So like in one shot, there was probably like 7 or 8 different highways, like
overpasses and whatnot.
Yeah.
But our destination was just about, I don't know, an hour, 45 minutes, something like that, south of the Dallas metro area. We were headed to Waco, Texas. So anybody who doesn't know, Waco, Texas is the home of Chip and Joanna Gaines, and they have created Magnolia from their show Fixer Upper. And that was the second thing on Jess's list. So we went down there to check out Waco. Magnolia aside, we'll touch on that in a second. Waco was a very, very interesting community. Obviously, a lot bigger than probably a lot of people think from watching the show. You know, you're looking at about the size of a Billings, Montana.
But spread out.
Yeah, but spread out. But it's a college town, so they have Baylor University, which we walked around and let Stephanie take a look at. And they just have a lot of really cool architecture, and the lay of the land is really nice. Obviously, it gets hotter than sin because we're in southern Texas or middle of Texas. But with that said, for the time of year that we were there and getting to explore a little bit, you know, driving around and seeing all that there was to see, Magnolia wise and otherwise, it was
perfect.
Yeah, it was a really cool city. But we weren't there to really see the city. We were there to see Magnolia. So
I mean, priorities, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Janelle, what was your favorite part of seeing all of Magnolia stuff?
The cupcakes.
The cupcakes.
I mean, the cookie was good, but
The cupcakes.
So Joanna Gaines, in the Fixer Upper, there's actually a Fixer Upper episode, where she bought an old building on the premise of where the silos are and turned it into a cupcake store.
like literally no more than 20 feet from the sidewalk.
Yeah. So Janelle's favorite part was going to the cupcake store.
And they have it. It's such a system because I'd probably say it's a good city block, if not more. All around the silos, which she makes a big deal about wanting to preserve the silos, and I don't even know if there's anything that happens with them besides there's lights on them. But you can enter in different areas of the property, But like the bake shop, which probably used to be like your traditional storefront, you go in the front door and then you go out the front door, it's gotten so big. There's actually a line that goes to the side of the silos of people wanting to go and get cupcakes. And it moves really quickly, but it's just a small old building. There's room for maybe, 10 people max. Makes it feel crowded just being in line and stuff. But they picked, I'd say they probably have about 6 like regular flavors and maybe 6 or so seasonal flavors. And like that is literally all there is to choose from, but they are all delicious. Like
Amazing.
there's a couple we didn't end up getting because I failed apparently and didn't get a dozen when I went in.
Well, we went in twice.
Just don't tell people that. You
We
have
went
to
in
if you want to
once
try
one
all
day,
of them. You have to.
And then we went in it once another day so we could have dessert that night.
But
The
lavender
pumpkin
lemon.
spice.
Oh yes, and pumpkin spice.
It's amazing.
So the grounds, like Jess said, is about a city block, and they have taken existing buildings and, for lack of better terminology, made a little compound village, something
It
of that
almost
sort.
has a little bit of a town square
And
feel. Like
and they have put in all kinds of different Magnolia flavors, from food trucks to coffee shops to markets, to outside grounds, which are just as much a feature as anything else. But to see what 2 people have accomplished in this podunk, no-name city that, when they started, was pretty dilapidated. That was pretty phenomenal.
and all
I
in
applaud 'em.
preserving. They preserved a lot of the history, like in the Magnolia. I don't know, in one of the buildings, in one of the stores you can go in. It's an old grain building, and they, like the down, like at the head face level, it all looks like they've redone it. But if you look up, it looks like the way it probably did always. I mean, the green shoots and everything are still kind of part of the aesthetics of the building. It's very cool how they made it new, but didn't change the old. That's the same in all of their buildings.
So they give you a little card, which all the kids got, and every time you go to a different one of their venues, stores, whatever you want to call it, you get stamped. So you got to stamp at the coffee store, the market, the bakery, the first little shop that they had, which is off campus, so to speak. Their restaurant,
Magnolia table.
Yeah. So, and then at the end, you get a little button.
We were hoping for, like, they said you'd get a prize, and Matthew definitely wanted like a high five from Chip. He was disappointed when he got a little lapel pen.
So give me your guys's takeaway, your opinion. Thousands of people year round come to this place. Was it worth it? Did we drive the 5,000 miles or 4,000 miles or whatever it was for a good reason? Would you recommend it to people? Give me your take.
I think it may not suit everybody's fancy, but like you said, just to see what you could accomplish if you put your mind to it, I think it's worth just to go see what they have done with an area that otherwise would have either been still sitting vacant or would have been bulldozed, or just to see that you can have a vision out of something that's like old and yucky, I guess. And the other thing that I thought was very prevalent is that their focus on family is huge in everything that they do. So when we're walking through the Magnolia, through the silos area, they had games for the kids to play like around every corner. There was giant blocks, there was
a baseball field.
There was like a miniature baseball field, like legit scoreboard and everything.
Scoreboard didn't.
No. There was bean bags out, like just so you could just lay around. It was very comfortable, and I mean, there were just little kids. Obviously, there weren't a ton of kids your age, but there was a bunch of just toddlers just running around. You know, I think they made a really great place, whether for tourists or for local people to just be and enjoy being together, which kind of goes to their premise of their restaurant, the Magnolia table. They almost had community seating, and they'll ask if you want a private table or a community table. So if you're a party of 2 and there's multiple parties of 2, they might put you all at a table for 8, because their, I guess, mantra maybe is there's always room at the table, like for anybody. So, and that's the feel you get anything Magnolia that you go into. It's just like your family, so come on in, you know. So I thought that was very cool, and I don't know what else they could do, but they're probably going to do more. I mean,
you know, the takeaway I got, so I like asking people questions. You know, I think the best way to get to know somebody is to ask them about themselves. Everybody likes to talk about themselves. And, you know, so when you go into a coffee shop, hey, how are you doing? Are you from this area? Are you a college student? You know, I like to ask those type of questions. And so I asked a few different employees in different areas how they enjoyed working there, if they've ever met Chip and Joanna, are they like what they're like on TV? And I pretty much got unanimous answers. They are exactly who they are on TV. They're the nicest people in the whole world, and they honestly do care about everybody. And you know, I was telling Jess this morning, you know, the positive outlook, the happiness, that
joy.
Yeah, the joy that comes through some people, it's addictive. And you know, you get so much farther in life with that joy mentality, and that I care about the people around me than you ever will in the opposite. And you know, that's where I think the Magnolia story shines, is the way that they have accomplished it was just by caring about their neighbor. And how can I make this area better for my neighbor? And you know, a byproduct of all that stuff is their success, but they never set out to create their success. And so I thought that was my biggest takeaway. And you know, it's a life lesson for all of us, you know, to look out for your neighbor. You know, we only go around this block once. Let's be positive about it and not negative, you know. So I thought, from my perspective, that it was very worth the trip, and I'm glad that we got to check a couple things off our bucket list. But so if anybody is headed that direction, I would suggest going to it. Whether you're a fan of them, a fan of the show, or not, you know, I think it'd be worth your while to just check out what they've created.
I would say because in my mind, I think I was going into it thinking they're basically the same thing, but they're not. Obviously, being from more of the ranching like world, Pawhuska felt more natural to me. And obviously, she's not an interior designer. She's a mom and a wife and loves to cook, and she's a foodie. On the flip side, though, Joanna is also all of those things, but she's got a knack for design and like just making a space very, very comfortable. So it may or may not be like my design choice, but I still loved it all. It was just,
She likes gold.
she does. I'm not into gold that much, but she does a really good job. Even if it's not your choice necessarily, you still love it, you know. And so she's very, very talented in what she's been able to just
very much so
put together.
So that'll end our visits to the 2 locations. Our next leg of our journey, we're headed south to San Antonio. We're gonna check out the history that's down in that area, get to do a little history lesson for our kids, and kind of looking forward to seeing what's down there. But until we catch you on the next video, we hope everybody is doing great, and we'll catch you on the next one.
And stay positive.